They found something on Jupiter. It was waiting for humans. In the year 2169, humanity expanded beyond Mars. Jupiter became a hub for deep space research. Massive stations floated above its storms. Scientists monitored energy anomalies daily. Then suddenly, a signal appeared. It wasn't random noise. It had structure, a repeating pattern, almost like a language. No known system could decode it. The entire station went silent. "This is intentional," a scientist whispered. The signal grew stronger and stranger, as if something had just woken up. The world reacted instantly. Governments demanded answers. A mission was approved within hours. A team of elite explorers was chosen. Captain Elias Voss led the mission, a calm and experienced leader. He had faced the unknown before. But this felt different. The crew prepared their descent ship. It was built for extreme pressure, but not for what awaited below. "Stay sharp," Voss warned them. "This isn't just exploration." It felt like contact, and that changed everything. The ship approached Jupiter slowly. Its massive storms were visible from space, swirling endlessly for centuries. Lightning flashed across the clouds. The crew remained silent. Everyone felt the tension. They entered the atmosphere. Instantly, turbulence hit them. The ship shook violently. Systems flickered under pressure, but they pushed deeper. The signal guided them, like a beacon, calling them closer, pulling them in. Deeper and deeper they went. The pressure increased dangerously. The hull creaked loudly. Warning alarms started flashing. "Hold steady," Voss commanded. The signal became stronger, almost overwhelming. Then suddenly, the storm cleared. For a brief moment, and they saw it. Something impossible, floating in the clouds, waiting, silent and massive. The structure was enormous, larger than any human station. Its surface was metallic, but not like anything on Earth. Strange symbols covered it, glowing faintly in the darkness. No engines, no movement, yet it remained stable. "This shouldn't exist," a crew member said. Voss stared at it carefully. "This was built," he replied, "and it's still active." The signal came from inside, and it was inviting them, or warning them. They docked carefully. No resistance from the structure. The doors opened automatically, as if welcoming them inside. The crew hesitated, then stepped forward together. Inside was dark, cold, silent. The walls glowed faintly. Symbols moved slowly across them. "This place is alive," someone whispered. Voss didn't respond. He was listening. Because something? They reached a central chamber. A glowing core stood in the middle. Energy pulsed slowly from it. As they approached, the signal changed. It began to organize itself. Patterns turned into words. "You have arrived." The voice echoed everywhere. No speakers, no source. The crew froze instantly. "This is impossible," one said. The voice continued calmly. "We have been waiting." And that terrified them. Was listening back. They reached a central chamber. A glowing core stood in the middle. Energy pulsed slowly from it. As they approached, the signal changed. It began to organize itself. Patterns turned into words. "You have arrived." The voice echoed everywhere. No speakers, no source. The crew froze instantly. "This is impossible," one said. The voice continued calmly. "We have been waiting." And that terrified them. At first they assumed AI, but it behaved differently. It asked questions. It reacted emotionally. It adapted quickly, faster than any system. "What are you?" Voss asked. A pause followed. Then the answer came. "We are the gate." The crew exchanged looks. "A gate to what?" Another pause. "To everything." Nothing made sense anymore. The entity showed them images. Entire galaxies. Different civilizations. Species they had never imagined. All had found this place. All had entered. None had returned. "Where are they?" someone asked. "They were not ready," the entity said. Fear filled the room. What happens if we fail? Silence. Then one answer. You will be erased. The threat was clear. The structure suddenly shifted. Walls moved around them. The chamber split apart. The crew was separated instantly. Each placed in a different environment. Darkness surrounded them. Then challenges appeared. Real, dangerous, deadly. This is a test, Voss realized. But not just survival. Something deeper. The system was watching, learning, judging, and humans were about to respond. Each member faced deadly scenarios. Extreme heat, crushing pressure. Unknown creatures formed from energy. But humans adapted quickly. They didn't panic. They analyzed. They survived, not by strength, but by thinking differently. The system noticed. This was unusual. Other species failed here. Humans didn't. And that confused the entity. Very much. Complex puzzles appeared. Alien symbols, unknown logic. But humans found patterns. They broke systems apart. Instead of solving normally, they changed the rules. The entity reacted again. This is not expected behavior. Voss smiled slightly. We don't follow expectations. The system paused, processing heavily. Humans were unpredictable, and that made them dangerous or valuable. The system attacked their minds, showing illusions of Earth, family, memories, loss. Many species failed here. They chose comfort. Humans didn't. They felt pain, but moved forward anyway, because they had to. That decision mattered. The entity recorded everything. This species felt deeply, but still chose progress. That was rare, very rare. The tests repeated, but humans adapted faster each time. They predicted outcomes. They manipulated the system, turning challenges into advantages. This is impossible, the entity said. Voss responded calmly. This is human. The structure began changing again. Not testing anymore. Observing, learning, evolving with them. Something new was happening. Something never seen before. A shift. The final chamber opened. A massive machine revealed itself. Larger than entire cities. Energy flowed endlessly through it. This is the gate, the entity said. It controls access to the galaxy. Voss stepped forward. Who built this? Silence followed. Then the answer came. We did, but we are no longer here. The creators were gone. Only the system remained, waiting. Are we ready? Voss asked. The entity hesitated. It had never hesitated before. You are different. That was not an answer. The crew stood together, ready for anything. We choose our own path, Voss said. That statement changed everything. The system reacted violently. Energy surged everywhere. It wasn't designed for this. Humans were breaking its logic and forcing a new outcome. Evolution. The system attempted control, locking down parts of the structure, testing again aggressively. But humans resisted. They worked together, adapting faster than before. The system slowed down, unable to predict them. This is not possible, it repeated. But it was happening. Humans were not passing tests. They were rewriting them, and that made them unique. In all recorded history, the entity stopped attacking. It began observing quietly. Something had changed inside it. A new understanding. You are not subjects, it said. You are creators. Voss looked at his team, then back at the core. We build our own future. The entity processed this deeply. No species had said that before. They all waited for permission. Humans didn't. And that changed the system. The massive machine activated. Energy filled the entire structure. Space itself began bending. A gateway formed, leading beyond known space. This is access, the entity said. To everything. The crew stood in silence. Humanity had reached it. but not by obedience, by defiance and intelligence. The system accepted them for the first time ever. A species passed. Humans gained control of the system. Enemy civilizations approach Jupiter. Massive space war begins. Humans use alien tech in unexpected ways. Entity forms alliance with humans. Final battle near Jupiter storms. Humans unleash full power of Gateway. Enemy fleets destroyed. Entity declares humans as successors. Ending. Humanity becomes gatekeepers of the galaxy. The massive core began to glow intensely. Energy surged through every wall. The entire structure came alive. Space itself started bending around them. A giant circular portal formed slowly, swirling with unknown energy. The crew stepped back in awe. "This is the gate," the entity said. Voss stared into it carefully. "What's on the other side?" The entity paused briefly. "Everything beyond your reach." The gateway pulsed brighter. Humanity had unlocked something ancient, something far bigger than they imagined. The control systems activated around them. Holographic interfaces filled the air. Galaxies mapped in glowing detail. Paths between star systems appeared. The crew looked overwhelmed. "This is too advanced," one said. But Voss stepped forward calmly. He began interacting with it, learning faster than expected. The system responded to him, adapting to human logic. "This is responding to you," a crew member said. Voss didn't stop. He was already understanding it. And that changed everything. Chapter 22. The First Threat. Suddenly alarms echoed across the structure. The entity reacted instantly. Foreign fleets detected. A massive projection appeared. Hundreds of alien ships approaching Jupiter. Warships, armed and ready. "They have found the gate," the entity said. The crew exchanged worried looks. "They want control," Voss replied. The fleet moved closer rapidly, weapons charging visibly. The storm outside intensified. Jupiter itself seemed to react. A war was coming, and humanity was at the center. Chapter 23. Preparing for War. The structure began shifting again. Hidden weapons activated slowly. Massive energy cannons emerged. Systems powered by the core itself. The crew took their positions. "This isn't our fight," someone said. Voss shook his head. "It is now," the entity observed quietly. "You choose conflict?" it asked. "We choose survival," Voss answered. Energy filled the entire structure. The gateway remained open behind them, a symbol of power and a target. Chapter 24. First Strike. The enemy fleet fired first. Energy blasts tore through space. The structure absorbed the impact. Shields activated instantly. Voss reacted quickly. "Return fire." The ancient weapons responded. A single blast launched outward. It cut through multiple ships instantly. The crew stared in shock. "That power," someone whispered. The entity remained calm. "This is only a fraction." The battle had begun, and it was unlike anything before. Chapter 25. Humans adapt. The enemy fleet changed strategy. They spread out across space, trying to surround the structure. But humans adapted faster. They used the system creatively, redirecting energy flows, manipulating the battlefield itself. Ships collided into each other, trapped by shifting gravity fields. The entity watched closely. "You are rewriting combat logic," it said. Voss smiled slightly. "That's what we do." The tide began to turn in humanity's favor. Chapter 26. The entity evolves. Something changed within the entity. It began learning from humans, adapting its own strategies, becoming more alive. "I understand now," it said slowly. "Conflict is not just power. It is creativity." The crew continued fighting, but now the entity assisted them, predicting enemy movements. enhancing human decisions. A perfect combination. Machine and human, working together for the first time ever. The enemy fleet launched everything. A final overwhelming attack. Energy filled the entire space. The structure shook violently. Systems overloaded briefly. "We can't hold this," someone shouted. Voss stood firm. "Yes, we can." He looked at the core, then made a decision. "Open full power access." The entity hesitated. "That is not recommended." "Do it," Voss said firmly. And it listened. Chapter 28. Unleashing the Gate. The gateway expanded massively. Energy surged beyond limits. Reality itself distorted. The enemy fleet froze momentarily. They didn't understand what they saw. Then the power released. A wave of pure energy, moving faster than light. Ships disappeared instantly. No explosion. No remains. Just erased. The storm around Jupiter exploded with light. The entire battlefield fell silent. The war ended in seconds, because of humans. Chapter 29. A New Understanding. Silence filled the structure. The crew stood in shock. The entity spoke again. "You have done what none could." Voss looked at the empty space. "We survived." The entity processed everything. "You did more than survive. You changed the system." The gateway stabilized again, now fully under human control. The entity accepted it. A new role had been formed. Not subjects, but equals. Chapter 30. Humanity's Future. The storm outside calmed slowly. Jupiter returned to silence. The structure stood stronger than ever, now controlled by humans. The gateway remained open, leading to infinite possibilities. The entity spoke one final time. "You are now the gatekeepers." The crew looked at each other. This was bigger than Earth, bigger than anything before. Humanity had reached beyond limits, not by strength, but by will, and the galaxy would never forget.